Forever Falls Zone, Beacon Hallway. After the long talk with his step-mom, Jaune promised not to be the cause of trouble, noting that all his engagements were instigated by Winchester. Shadow was walking through the halls and found Ruby out of their dorm sulking. He sits down to her side and nudged her. Ruby, oh hey Jaune, what are you doing here? Jaune, I could ask you the same question. Ruby, I just feel I can't compare to the rest of the first years. I just got here after skipping 2 years and I still lost my first fight. Jaune, don't blame yourself, Ruby. Those jerks took advantage of your innocence to win that fight. Ruby, I just wish I could do better. It's hard to catch up. Jaune, you know, if I entered this academy with 0 experience and talent, that would be more harder. You're gifted, Ruby, and I'm amazed that you got here either way. It's only been just 3 days. A kingdom isn't built overnight. If you pushed yourself into your studies and dedicate yourself to improving, you can run circles around everyone in the first year. Ruby brightened at his compliments and stood up. Ruby, all right, I'll do my best. I'll be the bestest leader ever. Jaune, I don't think that is a word, Rubes. Ruby, and you're gonna help me get stronger. Teach me those CQC stuff that Yang has been nagging me about. Ruby, you got it, boss. Ruby opened the door to enter the room, but Jaune decided to take a walk. Ruby, aren't you gonna come in? Jaune, I have something to deal with. Please go ahead, I'll be back. Ruby nods as she yawns and enters the room. Jaune walked all the way up to the roof. He looks to the shattered moon as repressed memories soon overtake him. Flashback. Penny. Hi, Shadow. I'm Penny. I guess you're my little brother. I'll ask Dad to let you out so we can spend time together. The scene fades to white as another scene takes place. Shadow. All I remember from my childhood is the sound of gunfire. Atlas firing range. Atlassian scientist. It appears his heightened senses has given him supreme accuracy. His current accuracy record is 98.9%. Ironwood. Good, then we will move to close quarter combat. We will gauge how strong is his physical attributes. Then it shifted to Atlas Combat Simulation Room. Atlas Scientist. It appears he has superior strength to regular humans. Even without aura, he is truly a superior being to all of us. Ironwood. All right, Shadow, that's enough. Shadow. Okay, Mr. Ironwood. Ironwood. Only those who I deem trustworthy can call me by my name. To you, it's General. Shadow. Yes, sir, General. Flashback ends. I see you're spending your time wisely contemplating Mr. Polendina.
Jaune, Headmaster.
Ozpin, I overheard what you said to Miss Rose and I couldn't have said it better myself. Oh, and just call me Grandpa if we're together. Jaune. Yes, Grandpa. I'm just thinking about my childhood. Ozpin grimaced, remembering all the documents, recordings, and details Pietro shared with him about Project Shadow. Ozpin, I know your upbringing might not be a good one, but always remember that you still have family here. Jaune, thank you. Do you think I'm really a real person, even if I was born artificially?
Ozpin then laid a hand on his shoulder.
Ozpin, you're real, as real as me and everyone else. Don't ever doubt who you are, Jaune. I will always regard you as my grandchild. Jaune, thank you. Ozpin, I suggest you go back to your dorm and get some sleep, young man. Unknown to them, someone was listening in. The next day, Forever Falls. Linda. All right, all of you know your assignments. Now go and stay safe, all of you. The team split up as Jaune was met with Carden leaning on a tree. Secretly, Ruby was following him as Yang followed Ruby, and out of curiosity, Blake followed them. Jaune just walked past him as he began talking. Carden, I heard the juiciest story last night.
Jaune stopped as his hair overshadows his eyes.
Carden, I guess you're more than a freak. You're an IVF baby. Meanwhile, in the bushes, whisper, Ruby, what's IVF? Blake, in vitro fertilization. He's basically a test tube baby. Yawn. So, he was born in a lab? Blake, maybe his parents weren't capable of making a child naturally if we're giving him the benefit of the doubt. Ruby, what difference does it make he's still Jaune? Back to Carden. I gotta say it's kinda sad. Did mommy and daddy make you? Or are you some pity project? After saying project, something in shadow snapped. Jaune grabbed Carden by the throat and slammed him against the tree as his friends sprang from their hiding place. Sky, put him down, freak.
Dove? Yeah.
Russell, I guess you guys are nothing but animals. Carden, it's a cough of pity that the headmaster gasp will lose his job front being associated to you. Jaune throws Carden to the ground. The rest of Jaune's team tried to join him, but was cut off by a loud roar as a giant Ursa appeared. The rest of RDL ran for the hills.
Carden, Smon.
It's just a Grimm. Then the Ursa was on top of him trying to maul him. Jaune was trying to make a decision. Should he save someone who threatened his newfound family, or leave him to die by his own foolishness? Flashback.
Shadow and Penny was looking to the stars and the shattered moon.
Shadow, why do people hurt each other? Penny, because people are motivated and driven by their own selfish actions. Shadow, promise me you won't turn out like those people. Shadow, I promise. She holds out her pinky as Shadow was puzzled. Penny, pinky promise. Shadow then promised her as he locked his pinky with hers. Shadow, I promise. Flashback end. He then created a chaos spear and vanished. He reappeared behind the Ursa and instantly decapitates it. He lands near Carden, who was sitting down. Carden, I.N. Jaune, you have no idea who you're dealing with. Carden, I know you're Ozpin's grandson. Jaune, I'm not talking about him. I want you to listen to me and pass the word to every lowlife you know. You want to come after me, fine. That's the life I chose. Carden shield his face as the light becomes more intense. Jaune, look at me. As of right now, those who are close to me is off limits. If any of you attacks one of my loved ones, or hurts one of my loved ones, or even bumps into someone I love in the street, this is what awaits you. Carden was now a cowering mess. Jaune turns to see his team walking towards them, as he felt that he was ashamed that he was regressing to what he was before becoming Jaune. Ruby, that was cool. The way you glow red and everything was just bourgeois, young, and I thought I had a temper, geez. Jaune, you're not afraid of me? Blake, why should we? You were only trying to protect those who you care about. A lot of people would have just stayed quiet. Jaune, but I'm young. Hey, just because you were born differently doesn't make you any lesser than us. You're our teammate, our friend. Ruby, if it's okay with you. Jaune smiles his rare smile. Young, are you really Ozpin's grandkid? Jaune, only by bond, not by blood. Then Glinda arrived to see the destruction. Glinda, what happened here? Jaune walked towards Glinda and whispered something in her ear. Then the air around the forest grew cold as many trees were crushed by an unknown force as purple energies danced around. As Glinda was generating whines through her semblance as she lifts Carden in the air. Glinda, if you dare speak of anything of our private matters, I will expel you and those involved in this, and it won't end there. I will have you blacklisted on all academies. You will never be a huntsman if you continue on this path. Now shut up and accept your punishment. Jaune felt scared for once in his life when he saw his stepmom flip. The teams followed the raging headmistress as they all went back to Beacon.